I think what gets me about Jacqueline is that she doesn't realize that we are laughing at her, not with her. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Bonnie Scotch. Thank you so much for tuning into my video today. I wanted to bring you a review for Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 9, episode 4. I felt like this was an okay episode. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot going on to it, but overall it was just okay. It did feel like a little bit of filler, but we're gonna get that. Now, before I get into this review, go ahead and hit the like button for me. When you hit the like button, not only is it a free way to support my channel, but it also lets YouTube know that I'm here and that you all are rocking with my commentary, so YouTube starts to shoot my content out to other viewers just like you. Also, I just have a really quick church announcement. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel in the last week. I got something like 80 subscribers in the last week between Salt Lake City, Potomac, and New York, and I'm just ecstatic to have new people with me. Scotch Bonnets, Scotch Gang, Bonnie Gang, we here, we live. Listen, I saw some new names down in the comments with me, and I just really appreciate all of the love so much. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's review, shall we? Also, can I just quickly address something from the previous episode that I didn't catch? Because I watched the episode twice, so I don't know how I missed this. But TJ told Stacie, hey, I'm not going to sleep with you. And she's like, well, you don't have to say it like that. And she's like, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want to sleep with me? And he said K. And she said, what's K? He said 0. Also, why was Ashley's feet up on Stacie's counter? They addressed that later, but I also forgot to include that in my notes, that she's a nasty woman and she would have been put out of my house. Okay. Also, Karen, the way she busted up into the room talking about what the F is going on in here. Let me tell you something. Don't walk in nobody's house yelling and cursing, because you would have got put out for that too. I understand that you're the mother and you're the grand dame and you're in charge of the girls and all of this other stuff, but I'm the mother of my house. So you don't come up in here yelling. When you come in, you say good morning.
Yeah.
I don't care about you nor Antoine. When you walk in here, say good morning like we said to you.
Oh, okay. Good morning.
You act like you have some sense. We start the episode where the ladies are in a car driving to the house that Mia set up for them in North Carolina. Karen is saying, wait for the facts to come out to Mia, because, Mia brought up this conversation about this public court case and the court documents being out there, essentially. Karen, if you're going to be telling people to wait for the facts, wait for this and that every time we turn around, I feel like you could have sat this season out, because you knew that they were going to relentlessly ask you about this. Like, you had to know that. I feel like if you didn't want to talk about it, and I understand it is a criminal case, but girl, you were driving suspended license, unregistered vehicle, intoxicated, open beers. You were doing a lot. So I don't know how you are going to, honestly, it sounds like you would get a less harsh sentence if you actually admitted it, if you went to rehab. You have to play it a certain way. Go do your community service. Anyway, Wendy brings up a conversation that she overheard Jassy having, and she thought that she heard Jassy call Jacqueline a side chick, but actually she was calling her a sidekick. Jacqueline said that there's no competition. I just don't understand why things have to be a competition. I mean, your friend is going to be friends with other people, even if it is your best friend. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, all of the girls are going together in the car. Of course, Stacie is the only one who is riding in a separate car. Mia says that she thinks that Stacie is boring and that she has a Valley Girl persona and that she's not really meshing with it. Okay, well, what about this woman exactly is boring? Is it because she's not giving us paternity storylines? Is it she's not giving us enough hood rat? She's not gutter bucket trash. She's not going upside people's heads with pocketbooks. She's not throwing drinks in people's faces. She's not playing a lot of lesbianic games. Is that why she's boring to you, Mia? So they get to the house and there is a gentleman there. He welcomes the women. He says, "This is Mia Manor." He's the concierge, and all of the women have butlers assigned to them. Now, I feel like this scene with the champagne upon the entrance and the warm towels and all of that, I feel like the Potomac girls have been watching reviews and hearing us call them broke and poor and all of these things. So production along with the women are trying to like do things to kind of like step up the image. I see what y'all are doing. They're trying to elevate the situation. All right, so sidebar, I don't like the yellow dress that Wendy has on in her confessional with all of the butterflies. It just looks very cheap. And Wendy, for the most part, gets it right with the looks. So, yeah, I'm not feeling that one. The ladies are having lunch together, and Jacqueline confronts Jassy about what she said about being a sidekick. Jacqueline, you're always running up under Mia, and now you are sharing a room with her. And every minute you are reminding us that she's your best friend. I'm not even kidding you. Jacqueline reminded us at the very least, 5 times in this episode that she and Mia are best friends. She did it toward the end too. Whenever the friends that Mia invited from North Carolina were sitting at the table and they're like, "Yeah, we go back to blah, blah, blah. We knew each other since." And she's like, "Well, I knew her when she was driving a Honda Civic." Girl, okay. We get it. You have known her longer than everybody else. Relax. It's okay. Anyway, Jassy now has a really beautiful confessional look. She has on this scarf. She has a really cute bob. The cut creases, everything. All 10s, no notes. Shout out to Jazzy again. Jacqueline says, "I'll always be number 1 to Jassy." Okay, girl. Anyway, we have Mia letting the ladies know that later on she will be having a couple of her homegirls come over and that they are some of her friends that she knows from just around the way. So then the ladies ask, "Jacqueline, you're cool with these women too, right?" And Jacqueline is like, "We're cool, but Mia is more so friends with them." And Mia says that Jacqueline one day theatrically exited the group chat. And so Stacie jumps in and she's like, "Well, Jacqueline, it seems as though you have problems with a lot of people, don't you?" I like Stacie's energy. I like her energy. I just wish it wasn't all of this like parading this questionable man that is clearly not attracted to you. That's the one ding. And then the second ding is this seemingly internalized anti-blackness. I don't know how Stacie was raised. I would have to get a little bit more of her story to know like why it is that she's not a proud black woman. Like I'm trying to have grace in certain situations because everybody was not raised a certain way. Like everybody was not raised to believe that their skin, their complexion is beautiful or that their hair is beautiful. Like growing up in my house, there were certain words we weren't even allowed to say. You know what I mean? Like I never heard of the term texturism growing up, but my mom somehow was aware of it to where we couldn't say the word nappy. Like nappy was banned from our home. You could say somebody had coarse hair. My mom didn't even too much play with the word kinky. She's like, "I don't like that. It's coarse. It's thick." She was very intentional about certain words that she used when I was growing up, certain language. So I understand that everybody didn't have that same upbringing, and I kind of want to have some grace for Stacie in that moment. After Stacie is like, "Well, Jacqueline, you seem to have a lot of problems with a bunch of different people," Karen jumps in and says, "You came to me that night at my party talking about a phone call, and you were seeking advice during that phone call. No one was drunk during that phone call." Now, here's my thing. Whether or not she was drunk, she was at home. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're going to be drunk anywhere, be drunk in the confines of your own home. I would much rather that than you be on the streets behind the wheel. So I don't really care. So yeah, it is shady that you're supposed to be her friend Jacqueline and you're carrying this information back to Mia. Mia brings it up to the group. You kind of laugh it off. You're saying, I'm not judging you, but everything's going to shake out in court. We'll just have to see how it goes. That's not really how a friend talks to another friend. Speaking of friends, I'm going to have to get on Giselle's ass a little bit later because she's trying to play the victim in the situation, and I'm not really seeing it for that, but we'll get there when we get there. Jacqueline knows she was being messy when she brought that up to Mia. Karen says, you're a liar, and that's why I don't F with you. Karen and Jacqueline start going back and forth a little bit. Jacqueline says that she keeps deflecting. Karen says, don't F with me and shut up. Jacqueline says, I'm not that kind of person, and she starts crying. My favorite part of the scene is when Jacqueline started crying and we see Stacie in the background eat. I don't know what she was eating. It could have been a piece of cake, but she goes on, she's eating. Y'all, I was like, ooh. The girls are eating you up here, Jacqueline. Karen told Jacqueline that she can cry until the cows come home and that she didn't give a fuck. Y'all, she ate that. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Because if you're going to have a smart mouth and a rude mouth, stand in it. Somebody calls you out, stand on your shit. Like, this is Housewives. Like, I want to see the girls, like, here's the thing, too. I know Candace, used to cry a lot, too. Candace cried a lot, but she had mouth. Candace could always run anybody up off her with that mouth. She had a nasty piece of Sagittarius mouth. So, that's why I was always here for Candace. She never let nothing slide. She was always going to give you a piece. Yes, she was breaking out the cry angle. If I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry, yes. But my mouth is going to be lethal as well. So cry, but get her ass together. That's what I want to see. So Stacie learns that she's going to be staying in the room with Kiarna. There's a bunk bed in this room. She was actually a really good sport about it, whereas Kiarna was kind of upset. Outside of the airheaded stuff with TJ and her potentially internalized anti-blackness, I actually think Stacie is cool. Like, I have started to warm up to her. Ashley is speaking to somebody about some type of deal on the phone. I don't know if she's doing some new business venture. I can't remember who she said she was talking to because I didn't really care. But what she said is that, she's working really hard as a mom and she's hosting drag shows and she's going to this and that place and looking for gigs and she's trying to get any kind of job she can to support her kids. I hate to break it to you, Ashley, but I think you need to go back to horror school. I do. I don't know who taught you how to hoe, Miss Ashley, but where I come from, when you marry and have 2 babies for a rich white man, the likelihood of you having to work again is very slim to none. Slim to none. You let that old white man climb your back. You pushed out 2 white babies and you still have to work this hard. Wow. Okay. 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 So then we have Stacie and Karen having a conversation off on the side. Stacie tells Karen that she is dreading having to tell her daughter about the divorce because they're getting closer to mediation. And my thing is, the child is 8 years old. You don't think that she senses a shift in the energy in the house? The dad's never home. He's not present in the same way or whatever, or you're at your apartment in DC. Children are very smart. They're very sensitive beings. They pick up on these shifts. There are things that I wish adults told me the truth about as a child. Now, I'm not saying you have to tell a kid everything and all of the dirty details, but give them enough information so that they can process and make their own informed decisions, form their own opinions and perceptions about things. I just hate all of these secrets that kids have to interface with because adults feel as though the kids in their lives are not emotionally aware or intelligent enough to handle information. They absolutely can. You would be surprised. You would be so surprised at what an 8-year-old can handle. I'm telling you, figure out a way to tell your kids the truth. It is only going to help them in the long run. I promise you. And before any of y'all get to typing fast about, I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't have any kids, I once was a kid. Hello? So then Karen goes on to tell Stacie that the women think that she's boring. Of course, she's a little offended by this. And then we jump to a scene where the ladies are out on the lake on a boat. Stacie is asking Kiarna who she is not close to in the group, and she says she's not close to Ashley, even though she apologized for the incident. She was not willing to accept her apology in that moment. We learned that she's going to be pressing charges and that there is a court date coming up, so good for her. Mind you, they're all on the boat together. They're talking about Ashley. Ashley is sitting right there. Loved it. Loved it. Kiarna says that there was a bit of chatter about, Stacie dating. And Stacie is like, well, Ashley was telling my business and I didn't like that energy of it. And Kiarna's like, well, I wouldn't have liked that either. So Ashley is jumping up, getting defensive now, saying, oh, all I said was he's just a friend. I didn't give it all of that. And so, of course, production rolls the tape back and is Ashley telling her business in a very, gossipy way at the table. I don't care if she brought the man to TV. I don't care if she told you about it. I don't care. The point is that it's not always your business to tell. Let that lady tell her own business. She's coming into the group. She's getting acquainted with the group. Let her tell her story. Let her tell her business. Everything is not your business to tell. I don't care that it is Housewives and that everybody goes and tell everybody's business. But yeah, I don't care that this is Housewives and a part of the gig is carrying a bone and telling people's business. The thing is that when y'all bone carry and all of that stuff, you can get checked for it. And Stacie rightfully, correctly checked you. This is the second time that she checked you. I would have had the same reaction, like, bitch, why are you telling my shit? Can I tell the group myself? Okay, go ahead. Tell my story then, since you know my story. Go ahead. That's what I would have gave. Stacie says that she hasn't been intimate with anyone in a year, and then we have a confessional where Giselle's like, well, I was married to a holy man. I was married to a pastor. And there was a whole lot of sex going on. Giselle, yeah, with all of the women down to the pulpit that weren't you. Don't he got 8 baby mamas? Wasn't he cheating on you? Didn't he have an outside baby on you? Before y'all even got married, he was cheating. So what are you talking about? Yeah, there was a whole lot of sex going on. He was cheating, Giselle. Giselle, you really bragging on Jamal Bryant? And then we have a confessional where Ashley is saying that everything that I've been getting with Stacie, I'm going to give it back. Let me tell you something, Ashley. I hope that Stacie tears your ass up this season. I feel like you have met your match when it comes to Stacie and Jassy. They seem like the perfect ones to get your ass together, and I can't wait. I am so here for it. Oh, and Miss Kiarna, we damn sure can't count her out. Okay? Because I saw a little bit of the energy that she's giving you in a later episode. I can't wait. I can't wait. I just feel like on this particular show, we have never really seen Ashley receive the tongue lashing that she deserves. Katie Ross got her together a little bit, but I really need somebody to take it home. So then we have a scene where Giselle is telling Karen that I think I've been the utmost friend to you and I don't feel like that's being returned. Giselle, you have some big fucking nerve. You do. Anytime Karen was down, you made sure to kick her. You made sure to kick her while she was on the floor. Whenever she and Ray were having tax issues, didn't you come through in a tax reform free Ray t-shirt? Didn't you, Robin, and Ashley put on your finest beauty supply wigs and go and harass and stalk Karen at her residence to see if she really lived there? Every time I turn around, there's a confessional of you dragging Karen. None of these things you're saying to her face, mind you. It's only in the confessional. You think that's being a good friend? Giselle wants to be able to do and say anything to you, but to her, you have to be the utmost friend. Girl, fuck off. Fuck right off, Giselle. We have this scene where, Mia and the ladies are talking, chit-chatting, and then later on in this scene, we have Mia saying to Karen, well, remember that time I was hanging out with you and my other friend Joy? Well, when you left us, you actually butt dialed us. And we heard a conversation, and Karen is like, well, what did you hear? And Mia goes on to say, well, you were telling somebody that these girls don't even know that I'm not with Ray. And that is where the episode ended. Mia keeps going after Karen's marriage. Karen is going to continue to let Mia have it. She is. But in any case, y'all, that was the episode. Get down in the comments with me. Let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see y'all for the next one. Peace.